Sports betting is getting legalized everywhere. It's the next big industry that's going to blow up if it's not already blown up. And you're probably going to want to start betting sooner rather than later. With March Madness, you're seeing all these ads, you're seeing commercials, Kevin Hart on DraftKings, a whole bunch of different things that you're seeing around the sports betting industry. It's growing, a lot of money's going into it, and it's here to stay. Whether you like it or not, it's here to stay. And for those that are interested in learning more about betting, how it works, what to do, who to do it with, this episode is going to help you a lot. It's going to help you in the sense of terms, how to bet, what to bet, and what all these different things mean, right? Before we start, though, please, guys, as always, I don't run ads on this show. I grow it via word of mouth. It's been growing a lot over the last 2 months. Thank you for everybody that downloads, shares, and just listens to the show. Really, it means a lot to me, and I'm not going to run ads, so please share it. That's how value works. If I provide value to you, share the show. If I don't, then don't share it. That's completely fine. That's how I want to run the show, and I'm going to run the show that way. So with that said, guys, let's start this show. Betting 101. Let's give examples, because examples is the best way I learn, and I think it's going to help you a lot too. So what's a bet? What's a wager? What's all this? Essentially, in simple terms, when you're betting on something, you're betting or you're gambling on an event or an outcome, on the future of the outcome, right? Within that bet, there's a lot of different terms and things to know about, right? So there's a variety of things you could bet. You could bet who's going to win the game. You could bet by how much they're going to win that game. You could bet the total of that game, the total points of both teams, if that's going to go over, under. And nowadays, with this industry growing so much, you could basically bet on just about anything. In the near future, you're going to be able to bet on drives. Yes, on drives. What are drives? Let's say a football game, third quarter, 7 minutes left, and Tom Brady just got the ball in the 1 yard line. You could bet on that drive if they're going to score, if they're not going to score, if Tom Brady's going to throw an interception, and all that. They're starting to make this more exciting, but just because it's exciting doesn't mean you go do it. That's typically how most people lose. Like all these little extra bets that's they're going to make you lose. They're putting those plays out to entice you to take the plays, but they don't win long term, right? So I'm going to give you what we play, my team plays, what I typically bet, and the standard of betting. Remember, the Roman Empire wasn't built in a day. You're not going to get rich out of this in a month, in 2 months, in a year. It takes time. You got to learn the terms. You got to learn how it works, how odds work. Odds are key. Odds are a big thing. So we're going to start off with example. Let's say today the Miami Heat play the New York Knicks. This is just an example. Typically, when Vegas odds makers open up that game, they look, okay, Vegas sees Miami Heat played the New York Knicks. They're probably $1 billion, but probably nearing $1 trillion industry. Well, they have Harvard PhDs, MIT PhDs, algorithms. They have it all. So these computers, algos, and humans create a line for that game. What's a line? A spread. They create the spread for the game, a point spread. What is a point spread? Point spread is a betting line that gives an advantage or disadvantage to one team with the goal of creating a more even matchup. Example here, Miami Heat play the New York Knicks tonight. Let's say Miami Heat is a 3-point favorite. Fede, what is a 3-point favorite? A 3-point favorite is when Vegas assigns 3 points, and that means the Miami Heat, in order for you to win the spread bet, they have to win by 3 or more points. So typically how it works is Miami Heat, they give them 3 points as a favorite, right? Then the opposite is also true. If Miami Heat's a 3-point favorite, then the New York Knicks will be a 3-point underdog. So it will be seen as +3. New York +3, Miami Heat -3. The same also applies if the Miami Heat was a 5-point favorite. Then the New York Knicks would be a 5-point underdog. That's what creates that evenly matchup, right? That's the goal of the Vegas odds makers, to create an evenly matchup for both sides to be bet evenly, right? Now, let's say you take the Miami Heat -2, -5 in this example. That means they have to win by 6 or more in order for you to win your play. If they win by 5, you push. If they win by 4, you lose. Pushing is basically you getting your money back and the bet is canceled. And same applies for the underdog. You get 5 points, but not to win. You got +5 points. So let's say the New York Knicks lose by 4 or less or win, you win the play. If they lose by 5, you push. If they lose by 6 or more, now you lose the play. I hope that makes sense. Basically, the opposite works for the favorite to the underdog. So if Miami's a -3 favorite, New York Knicks is a +3 underdog, and those points are just the points that are given for the favorite. They have to win by that amount. For the underdog, they can lose by that amount or you'll lose. That's just point spread, and that's what typically we play a lot. Why? Because of the odds. Typically, the odds are pretty even. They're standard. They're -110. So you're betting $110 to win 100. Now you're probably asking, hey man, that's not pretty even. You're betting 110 to win 100. That's because of the VIG. The VIG is pretty much the commission or fee charged by bookmakers for handling the bet. Those $10, that's what Vegas makes. That's what they're rooting for. Their idea is to have 50% bets on both sides of the aisle, and they make the VIG, which is the 10. So yes, that's a pretty even bet. Spread, point spread, point spread. I'll repeat the definition. A betting line that gives an advantage or disadvantage to one team with the goal of creating a more even matchup. So that's what the spread is. Now, that's one way you can bet. Now, you could also take money line, and money line is a bet on the outright winner of a game or an event, right? So you're probably asking, why would I take Miami Heat -7 and have to win by 7 points when I can just take the money line and win outright? That's smart, right? But this is where you're wrong. Now, for Miami Heat to win outright, you're going to have to put most likely $300 or $250 to win 100. That's because they're big favorites. The more favorite they are, the bigger they seem to be. The one that looks like they're going to win that game, the bigger the favorite, the bigger the money you're going to have to put for them to win outright. That's called money line. And personally, I never risk more than 2 to 1. I never put 200 to win 100. There's times where I take money lines and I take 150 to win 100, 160 to win 100. Above 200, it's a little too much for me in the risk reward side. I don't want to risk that much just to win 100. Just my rules, my opinion. But you could do it. I've seen a lot of people do it. But that's why a lot of people most likely take the spread, because they're betting 110 to win 100. Yes, they have to win by 7, but you're not putting $200-300 to win 100. You get me? So money line can be attractive in parlays, which I'll explain what parlays are later, or just if you're a savage and like to risk a lot of money. I'll be honest, I've been in this industry for 5 years on Instagram, 10 years by myself with other clients. And the reality is, the bigger the favorite, the more likely they're going to lose. I know that sounds crazy. But I recommend you, for example, in MLB, every time there's a favorite of -300 or above, go look how often they win. You'd think they'd win probably like 70-80% of the time because of how favored they are. It's the opposite. They lose those games. Why? I don't know. I mean, they underestimate their opponent. A variety of factors could come into play. But don't fall into this trap of seeing a big favorite and thinking they're automatically going to win because they're big favorites. That's how Vegas traps you. And most people that don't know about this lose that way, right? Now, there's that third option that you can bet. And this is just the basics. When you go into a sportsbook, FanDuel, DraftKings, these are the 3 sections you're going to see off the bat for each game. Money line, spread, over and under. And these are the ones I'm discussing about. So spread, it's a point spread differential. Money line is an outright winner. And over and under is a bet on the total combined score of a game or event, with the options to bet whether the score is going to go above that number or below that specific number. So again, Vegas wakes up, Vegas bookmakers, they see a game and they assign a total to it. For basketball games, college basketball games right now, for example, they're varying between 130 and 150. That means that both teams combined are either going to score above 130 points or below 130 points. And you can wager on that, on the over and under on games. That's another very lucrative way to bet. A lot of people take that. I personally don't really touch over and unders much. I take a lot of money line and spreads. That's just my bread and butter, what I've done best at, but everybody's different. So those are the 3 main bets that you're going to see in every sports book. Now, like I mentioned earlier, it's growing so much that now you can take a variety of things. I'm not trying to confuse you, but you can click into the game itself, and there's probably 120 different bets you could take. And it tells you right there that X player is going to score more points than this player, or that this player is going to hit a home run and that player isn't. They're catering to your addiction and to your want to bet by giving you more action and juicy odds. And that entices people. They're basically trapping you to take more plays for you to lose. Because when you lose, probably going to deposit because you want to chase. And that's just how it goes. That's the cycle of sports betting. So those are the three main bets. Now, there's a variety of other bets that you could take within these plays. And what do I mean by that? So I'm going to talk about one play that we typically take here and there. They're called parlays. And a parlay is a bet that combines multiple wagers into one with higher potential payout, but of course, a greater risk. So let's say today there's 16 NBA games. This is just an example. Miami Heat, New York Knicks is one. You like the Miami Heat, you take Miami Heat. But let's say you also like the Lakers, you like the Hawks, and you like Cleveland, right? Let's say you want to take them all together. Why do you want to take them all together? Because if you play them all together, there's a higher payout possibility. When you combine all teams, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams, the odds get juicier. And what do I mean by juicier? Since the chances of all those games hitting are lower, now you're starting to put, let's say, $10 to win $30 if you bet a 2-team parlay. So let's say you bet 2 teams to win. Now you, instead of betting 110 to win 100, now you're playing 100 to win 300. And the more teams you add on, the juicier it gets. It could go to the point where you could bet 100 to win $2,000 if you want. But the higher the odds, the higher the payout, the higher possibility is not going to win. There's a saying in Vegas that goes, parlays are for suckers, because they promise you this money that you're going to make right away, these high odds. Who doesn't want to see a ticket showing you that you bet $100 and you made $20,000? That's the American dream. That's anybody's dream. But the reality is, when does that really happen? Not too often, right? So when we do play parlays, I typically play 2 to 3 teams. I like to do it a lot more when we're up on the week, when it's fun. I don't really depend on parlays to get me out of a losing streak or to create a winning streak. It's more for fun on the weekends. When we're up, we add them. If not, I don't really care to do parlays. Again, parlays are for suckers. Vegas knows this, and that's why they're giving you all these options to bet different types of plays. Now, the last type of play I'm going to talk about are teasers. And there's more plays that you could take, and I'll talk about it more in different episodes. But this is just a gist, like the basic of sports betting. So what is a teaser? A teaser is a type of parlay that allows the bettors to adjust the point spread in their favor, but at the cost of a lower payout. This is used a lot, and I use it a lot during football season. So typically, let's say, for example, today's a Sunday, and today at 1 o'clock, the Dolphins played the Cowboys and the Eagles played the Giants, right? So in that case, let's say the Dolphins are 7-point favorites and the Eagles are 7-point favorites as well. You have the options to make a teaser out of that. Let's say you like the Dolphins to win outright and you like the Eagles to win outright, but you think 7 points is a little too much. You think the Cowboys and Giants could lose between 7 points, and you don't feel comfortable giving 7 points out. So what you can do is you create a teaser. And in that case, you buy points. Yes, you get points, 7 points. So in this example, your play goes from Dolphins -7s and Eagles -7 to Dolphins -1 or pick and Eagles -1 or pick. So now they have to win by 1 or pretty much more in order for you to win. That's how it goes with teasers. Again, these types of plays are put out there for you to fall into the trap, like be more enticed to take these plays. And now they're giving you player props. They're giving you total on points on players. They're giving you a variety of things because it's exciting, especially if you like sports. If you're into sports and you start seeing all this variety of ways that you can potentially make money, because let's be real, they make it seem and they paint it in their app as if you're going to make all this money, when in reality, you're probably going to lose all this money. So be careful with all these terms. Don't get excited. In this industry, less is more. Being boring is good in this industry. Yes, and I mean that. Being boring, taking 1 to 2 plays a day, sticking to a system, not getting too excited because it's March Madness or because MLB started and there's games all day. That's how you lose long term. The idea of this is to be fun. And just like a stock trader, stock tip, any financial guy that trades on a day-to-day options or all that or derivatives, if you look what they do on a day-to-day, the top guys, they're not taking action all day, every day. They take 2 to 3 to 4 bets, tips, trades a week, and they're good with that. And they set certain standards about how much they want to win each week or how much they want to lose each week, how much they'd put that they could lose each week. They have standards, they have rules, and it applies to this too. Don't let the hype, don't let the fun of it like make you start losing a lot of money, then get tilted and get in a bad mood and start losing more money, because that's what happens. I mean, that's the stories of Vegas. That's why Vegas is, in a sense, people consider it a dangerous place, because people go, they don't have emotional control. They start betting, betting, betting. What they thought was going to be a fun weekend, now they're down big. They can't pay their rent and they lose it all. It's happened. So bet responsibly, guys. If you guys have any questions, shoot me a message. The description below this video on YouTube, on every platform, has our Instagram, my Instagram, and a whole bunch of different little things that if you have more questions, just shoot me a message. I have no problem answering them. I want people to be familiar with this. It's going to blow up. I'm telling you, in the next 5 years, it's going to be legal in every state, and you should know how to bet and all the terms behind this so you're not getting confused. Now, with that said, guys, if you enjoyed the show, please share it. Thank you for catching it all the way through. Again, I grow it via word of mouth. I'm not running ads on this. Don't plan on running ads on it. Find it annoying. So if you found this helpful, if you want more of this, shoot me a message, rate the show, like the show, download the show. It'll help me a lot in the future. With that said, I hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you guys next time.